Hi all, today I would like to discuss about the vibrational spectroscopy. While dealing with rotational spectroscopy, we consider the molecule as a rigid rotator and assume that the bond connecting to two atoms are inflexible or rigid. However, it is not rigid. A molecule can be viewed as a system of different balls and springs, that is, atoms and bonds of varying strengths. That is, the bonds in a molecule are flexible and the atoms instead of remaining in fixed position, they vibrate about some mean positions. So these vibrations gives rise to the branch of spectroscopy called the vibrational spectroscopy. Before going deep into the spectroscopic techniques, we have to be familiar with different modes of vibrations that a molecule can possess, that is, stretching and bending modes of vibrations. These vibrations, that is, the stretching vibrations and bending vibrations, are called fundamental vibrations. So, a stretching vibration or a stretch is a rhythmic movement along the bond axis such that the interatomic distance is increasing or decreasing. That is, during stretching, the bond distance changes. Now, a bending vibration or a bend is one in which there occurs a change in the bond angle. That is, during bending, the bond angle changes. What are the normal modes of vibration of a molecule? A molecular vibration in which all the atoms oscillate with the same frequency and pass through their equilibrium position simultaneously is called a normal mode. So for a linear molecule, it will have 3n minus 5 normal modes of vibration, and for a non-linear molecule, there will be 3n minus 6 normal modes of vibration, where here n is the number of atoms present in the molecule. Thus, for a diatomic molecule which contains two atoms, n is equal to 2, the molecules like H2O2, N2, etc., which can be only linear, so they possess only one normal mode of vibration. And for a polyatomic molecule which is having n greater than 2 can have more number of normal modes of vibrations. You can see the animated videos of these vibration using the link given. The various stretching and bending vibrations occur at a certain quantized frequencies. So absorption of quantum of radiation in the infrared region having a frequency equal to the characteristic frequency of vibration increases the amplitude of that vibration and raises the molecule to a higher vibrational level. അതായത് മോളിക്യൂൾ വൈബ്രേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ആ വൈബ്രേഷൻ്റെ ഫ്രീക്വൻസിക്ക് സെയിം ഫ്രീക്വൻസി ഉള്ള മൈക്രോവേവ് റേഡിയേഷൻ മോളിക്യൂൾ അബ്സോർബ് ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഈ മോളിക്കുലാർ വൈബ്രേഷൻ്റെ ആംപ്ലിറ്റ്യൂഡ് ഇൻക്രീസ് ചെയ്യുകയും മോളിക്യൂള് ഹയർ വൈബ്രേഷണൽ സ്റ്റേറ്റിലേക്ക് എക്സൈറ്റ് ചെയ്യുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നു. സോ ദിസ് അബ്സോർപ്ഷൻ, the spectra arising from such absorption causing the vibrational transitions are called vibrational spectra. And usually vibrational transitions are always followed by the rotational transition. We know that for rotational transition the energy is less than that of vibrational transition. So vibrational transition is always followed by the rotational transitions. Hence, vibrational spectra is always called vibrational rotational spectra. Thus, we can say that vibrational spectroscopy involves the study of transition between quantized vibrational energy levels of a molecular species induced by absorption of infrared radiation. Now let's see what are the essential conditions for a vibration to be infrared active. It is not necessary that all vibrational modes of a molecule results in infrared absorption. This is because for IR absorption to occur, a vibration must satisfy one essential condition, that is, there must be a change in the dipole moment of the molecule during vibration. Hence, we can say that for a particular vibration to result in absorption of infrared energy, the displacement of atom during that vibration must cause a change in the dipole moment of the molecule. So, if a vibrational mode of a molecule cause a dipole moment change and consequent infrared absorption, that molecule is said to be infrared active. Otherwise, it is said to be infrared inactive. Symmetric diatomic molecules like H2, Cl2, etc. will not absorb infrared radiation because the bond stretching vibration in them do not result in any change in dipole moment. So, they do not yield infrared spectra and are called infrared inactive molecules. On the other hand, the heteronuclear diatomic molecules like HCl and polyatomic molecules like H2O, CO2, NH3, CH4, etc. absorb infrared radiation and thereby yield infrared spectra. This is because they have vibrational modes capable of changing the dipole moment. Such molecules are called infrared active molecule. In vibrational spectroscopy, a molecule is considered as two balls connected by a spring, and a disturbance of one of these masses along the axis of the spring results in a vibration analogous to a simple harmonic motion. That is, in vibrational spectroscopy, a molecule is considered as a simple harmonic oscillator. So, let's consider a diatomic molecule with atoms of masses m1 and m2 joined by a bond, that is spring, vibrating back and forth relative to the center of mass. Assuming the molecule as a simple harmonic oscillator, its vibrational frequency nu is given by nu equal to 1 by 2 pi into root of k by mu hertz, where k is the force constant and mu is the reduced mass, which is given by m1 m2 by m1 plus m2. And the expression for allowed values of vibrational energy E is obtained by solving the Schrodinger equation for the harmonic oscillator, that is E is equal to V plus half into h by 2 pi into root of k by mu, where V is the vibrational quantum number which can have the values 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. and h is the Planck's constant. Thus, from above two equation 1 and 2, we can write E energy is equal to V plus half into h nu. By putting the values for V, that is V equal to 0, the energy is equal to half h nu, and when V equal to 1, energy is equal to 3 by 2 h nu. Then when V equal to 3, energy is equal to 5 by 2 h nu, etc. The vibrational energy levels for a harmonic oscillator are thus equally spaced, and the spacing being equal to h nu. These allowed energy levels are shown in this figure. Thus, we can see that even in the lowest vibrational level V equal to 0, a molecule possesses some vibrational energy which is equal to half h nu for a harmonic oscillator. This energy is called the zero point energy. Thus, no molecule can ever have zero vibrational energy, or we can say that the atoms of a molecule can never be completely at rest relative to each other. Thus, even at 0 Kelvin, when translational and rotational motions ceases, the vibrational motion persists. Now, while dealing with vibrational spectroscopy, the radiation absorbed or emitted as a result of transition between energy levels is expressed in centimeter inverse units. So, it would be convenient to consider energies and frequencies too in these units. So, we have the vibrational energy E is equal to V plus half into h nu. This can be written as E equal to V plus half into h c omega, Remember, nu is equal to c omega. C is the velocity of light expressed in centimeter per second, and omega is the vibrational frequency of the oscillator expressed in the wave number units, that is centimeter inverse. Or we can write that epsilon v equal to ev by hc, that is equal to v plus half into omega centimeter inverse, where epsilon v is called the vibrational term. Now let's see the selection rule for vibrational transition. So according to the quantum mechanical principle, the selection rule for a vibrational transition is only those vibrational transitions are allowed in which the vibrational quantum number v changes by 1 unit. That is, for an allowed vibrational transition, delta v equal to plus or minus 1, or we can say that for absorption delta v equal to plus 1, and for emission delta v equal to minus 1.